Howdy folks, welcome to Circle C Ranch Horse Rescue as we take this quick tour of the property. Welcome to Circle C Ranch Horse Rescue. Sorry about all the background noise. I'm taking the old backhoe for a walk today because it's way too wet to be out and about on foot. As you can see, construction is underway. There's the ditch down there in the bottom going to the barn site where the electric and water is going to be buried. Pasture grass is starting to come in nicely. And the pond is quite low here at the end of summer. There again is the ditch line where the water and electric is coming into the barn site. More construction material to go in that ditch. The pond is down about 4 feet from where it usually is. Here's a quick shot of what the pond looks like when it's at the optimum level that we like to keep it at. It's still new enough it hasn't completely sealed up on its own. And right over here is the barn site. And the old sawmill. Pasture grass coming in nicely that was just planted back in the spring after clearing. And here's where the road forks. This goes down across the creek. House site right there on the hill. And the other fork goes up to that bridge up there. It is going to be a covered bridge, old-fashioned covered bridge. It's just not there quite yet. Here we have one of our creekside meadows. Welcome to the bridge. One of my strategically located pondering chairs where I sit on a dry day and enjoy the sound of that creek for hours on end. This creek cuts right across the middle of my property, and it will eventually be covered over. You can see right over there the pasture, and right over through there is the barn site. And from the bridge right there is my eventual house site where I can sit on my front porch right there and look down at the creek and listen to it tumbling over those stones and look across the creek directly into the barnyard. Now we have crossed over to the house building site, which is a future project down the road. Looking across that pasture and the barn site and down into the creek. And you guessed it, another one of my strategically located pondering chairs where I can sit and listen to that sound while I daydream. Barn, sawmill, pond, more pasture, and that lovely creek sound. Well, as we're leaving the house site, we're going to head up the mountain to one of the pastures in the back. Here is one of the small pastures out back. This one's going to be enlarged. I've got a few trees laying out in the middle of it that I've cut down. Still have to cut them up and process them. Small pond over there. A lot of that tree line you see there is going to get pushed back a couple hundred feet, adding more pasture. And you can see through the woods over there, the light area, that's more pasture on the other side of that little spring creek down there in the bottom. And here we're coming out into the back pasture. Some old farming implements. Look at that beautiful grass. And what old ranch or farm is complete without a couple of old junker vehicles sitting around for extra parts? This area back here is what I affectionately call the dirt pit, because it's where I harvest dirt for building roads and barn sites and house sites, etc., etc. And my old tool storage trailer. Stack of trusses down there, right in that area, for a shop roof, sitting under metal. And some pretty little peach trees growing right along the edge of this fenced-in area. And here we're coming out into the graveyard pasture. See, I've been doing some clearing here, pushing this pasture over into that one. And you can see we have some graves, family members. Around here we take care of our own when they pass on. Howdy folks, name's Bones. Some folks call me Bobby Clark. I and my wife are the owner of this beautiful little ranch. My responsibilities here include being the chief pooper scooper and the lead maintenance man and the head janitor and the lawn guy, and you name it, if it needs done, it's me. I'm not a fancy speaker, but there's two things that I am pretty decent at. I can build a house, a barn, shop, whatever you need, I know how to build it. And my passion is horses. Not just any horses. I'm not into that fancy show jumping and walking horses and any of that stuff. What I like is a good trail horse. I like taking a horse from green broke, doesn't know how to do much, all the way up to where they become your heart horse, your buddy, your partner, your pal, where you and your horse can go out for an evening ride, a weekend ride, or a 2-week backcountry ride and feel as safe and secure as is humanly possible while on the back of a 1,000-pound hairy critter. I know the magic of that feeling because, well, I've done it. I've ridden 3 states, all the way from Kentucky to Alabama in a single ride. Horses and a wagon. And a lot of other little short weekend rides and afternoon rides, and I've taken a dozen kids on rides and adults, and the overnight pack trips, they're the best. Simple, basic, don't care if it's a grade horse, a quarter horse, thoroughbred, gaited horse, I don't care. I'm not into titles and fancy names. I'm into creating friends. And this ranch that you see here, or just a little bit right here behind me and what you see in the rest of the video, my goal with this ranch is to create a training ground for those best friends. There's so many of them out there, abandoned in fields, neglected, abused, that could become your best friend or someone else's best friend. And I want to turn this little ranch into a training ground for that horse. So appreciate you coming on the tour. As you can see, there's not a lot here yet. I've been working on it for several years. We've got some pasture. We've got some nice cleared level spots. And now it's time to start building. We're going to start with the barn because the barn's the most important place on the ranch. And then we're going to build a house. And in the meantime, my wife and I, we're living our best lives in an RV because it's a nice big one, it's comfortable, it's all we need, and it allows us to focus on building this trail riding horse training grounds. So again, thanks for coming on the tour, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the trail. Here's a few pictures from over the years of some of our prior adventures, you might say. My kids, in-laws, and a few outlaws. Hope you enjoy.